He was a man with a broken heart. Jeremiah, the weeping prophet, knew sorrow like few others. God called him to warn his people, to shake them from their complacency, but they refused to listen. Jeremiah felt the weight of their rejection, the sting of their mockery. His message was a bitter pill to swallow: turn back to God or face destruction. It was a thankless task, a lonely path. But Jeremiah walked it with obedience and tears. He teaches us today that following God's call doesn't always lead to applause. Sometimes it leads to pain, but it always leads to faithfulness. Jeremiah didn't ask for this life. He was young when God called him, probably just a teenager. He tried to refuse, claiming he was too young, too inexperienced, but God's voice wouldn't be silenced. He touched Jeremiah's mouth and placed his words within him. Jeremiah was chosen, set apart for a special purpose, to be a prophet to the nations. This reluctant prophet learned a powerful lesson that day. God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. He equips those He chooses, giving them the strength and the words to fulfill His purpose. No matter how unqualified we may feel, God can use each of us, if we are willing to say yes. The message was simple yet terrifying. Turn away from your idols, Jeremiah pleaded. Repent of your wickedness. Seek the one true God. But the people of Judah had turned their backs on God. They chased after foreign gods, embraced empty rituals, and ignored the cries of the poor and oppressed. Their hearts were hardened, their ears deafened to Jeremiah's warnings. He became a target of their scorn, ridiculed, and persecuted for speaking God's truth. Even his own family turned against him. Yet he persisted, driven by a force greater than himself. Jeremiah's unwavering commitment reminds us that faithfulness to God often comes at a cost. But the cost of disobedience is far greater. Section 4. Tears of a Prophet. Imagine the anguish in Jeremiah's heart. He watched as his people marched towards their own destruction. He saw the storm clouds gathering, the Babylonian army advancing. His words were like a mournful lament, echoing through the streets of Jerusalem. His tears flowed freely, a tangible expression of his deep love for his people and his grief over their impending doom. He was known as the weeping prophet for a reason. His life was a portrait of heartache, a testament to the pain of watching loved ones reject God's love. Yet even in his tears, there was a glimmer of hope. Jeremiah never lost sight of God's faithfulness. He knew that even in judgment, God's mercy endures forever. Section 5. The walls fall down. The inevitable finally happened. Jerusalem, once thought invincible, fell to the Babylonians. The magnificent temple reduced to rubble. The people, dragged away in chains, forced into exile. Jeremiah's warnings, once dismissed as the ramblings of a madman, now rang true. His prophecies etched in the hearts of the exiled people. Amidst the devastation, Jeremiah remained a beacon of hope. He reminded the people that God had not abandoned them. He would preserve a remnant, and one day he would restore their fortunes. The fall of Jerusalem serves as a stark reminder that God's patience has limits. We cannot ignore His warnings forever, but even in judgment He always provides a way back to Himself. Section 6. A new covenant dawns. Even in exile, hope flickered. Through Jeremiah, God promised a new covenant, a covenant written not on stone tablets, but on the hearts of His people. This new covenant would be marked by forgiveness, intimacy, and an unshakable relationship with God Himself. It was a promise for the future, a light shining in the darkness of their present circumstances. This prophecy pointed towards a day when God's law would be written not on external rules, but on the very core of who we are. It was a message of radical transformation, a promise of a new beginning. Jeremiah's words offered a glimmer of light in the midst of devastation, a reminder that God's plans are always greater than our circumstances. Section 7. Jeremiah's echo in our hearts. Centuries later, Jeremiah's words still resonate. We see echoes of his life and message in Jesus, the one who wept over Jerusalem, who called out hypocrisy, and offered a new covenant sealed with his own blood. Like Jeremiah, Jesus was rejected by his own people, falsely accused, and ultimately condemned to death. Yet, through his sacrifice, he brought about the very hope that Jeremiah had prophesied. Jeremiah's story teaches us about God's relentless love, his unwavering faithfulness, and the transformative power of obedience. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, God is at work, weaving together his perfect plan. Let us learn from Jeremiah's tears, his courage, and his unwavering hope. Let us be a people who listen to God's voice, who stand up for truth, and who dare to believe in the promise of a new covenant. For even today, God is calling us to be his prophets, to speak his truth with boldness and love, and to point others towards the hope found only in him.